Are you struggling to make sense of the RCOG ePortfolio? Maybe you're new to training, you're new to the country, and you want to try and get on top of your ePortfolio. Well, don't stress, you're not alone. It's something that I've spent many years getting my head around. And in this video, I want to give you some tips on how to navigate the curriculum, how to make use of your ePortfolio, and be ready for your ARCP. My name's Remy, I'm an obstetrics and gynaecology registrar. I'm in my 6th year of training and I started training in 2016. I've taken 2 maternity leaves and this is a second iteration of the ePortfolio. So when I started I was using something completely different. So it's taking me a while to get used to the portfolio, make it work for me, and I want to share those tips with you in this video. So I'm going to start with how you log in to the ePortfolio and I'm going to show you that on my screen. So when you log on, this will be your dashboard. You'll have your own personalised login details attached to your training number. And this will be the dashboard you see. So the capabilities in practice is what CiPs stand for. And you have to, by the end of your year in training, you have to get all of these green. Yeah, so I'm going to show you how we'll do that. But before you do that, you really need to understand what the curriculum is. So you go to RCOG, you go to their curriculum page, and that's where you're really going to understand what is required from you for the year. So once you go onto the curriculum, we've got a new curriculum for 2024. That's it, the definitive document. It comes up as a PDF. I believe it's quite a large document, but this is kind of what you need to understand what is required of you in training. So I do suggest that you take the time to go through it. So I've mentioned before that training in the UK is split into 3 stages, like your SHO years, middle reg years, and then your senior registrar years, which is where I'm in now. So this is that again, where I've gone through that before, but that's not the purpose of this video, so I'll move on. So in the CiPs, you need to get the 12, and like I'd said before, you need to show that you're a healthcare professional, researcher, scholar and educator, clinical expert, and champion for women's health, and that's kind of what they're divided into. So once you've understood the curriculum, so for instance, the capabilities in practice, the doctor is able to apply medical knowledge, clinical skills and professional values. What you need to know is that you need to have evidence to prove this, right? So can you take a detailed history? Can you facilitate discussion with a woman? Can you help a woman make choices and provide treatment? And once you can show evidence through CBDs, mini-KEXs, reflective practice, NOTs and TO2s that you can do this, you then link it to it. In addition, you need to know the training matrix. So here, again, if you click through the Royal College website, you get an understanding of what you're meant to do at what specific grade you're at. So again, you can see stage 1, 2 and 3. And then in ST1, what clinical skills you need to show. And then what you're needed for ST2. So what I always say to anyone working in obs and gynae is that you really have to be thinking a year ahead. And so although you might see that all you need in ST1 is the cervical smear, I would argue that you need to also be getting through half of what's required for your ST2 years as well. You'll see along the side that you'll also need mini-KEXs, CBDs, and reflective practice, as well as sort of multi-source feedback. And all of these things will feed into that dashboard that I showed you at the beginning. So now that we understand what you need from the curriculum, from the training matrix, I'm going to demonstrate to you how you put that into practice in the ePortfolio and get all those reds and empty boxes green. So going back to the dashboard, I want to do a mini-KEX. So I'm going to click add here. And then it's kind of slightly off the screen, but I'm going to request an assessment. So this is just an example that I'm giving. So say in my clinical practice, I saw a woman bleeding in early pregnancy. And I know what the curriculum shows, so I want to add key skills. So I would add, based on what we know are the CiPs, I took a history and performed an exam. So I'm going to add that here. So that comes up as CiP 1, clinical skills and patient care. And I think it's always handy to have the core curriculum open. I mean, it's a lengthy document. So what I'll do is I'll just have my dashboard in a new tab. So, bleeding in early pregnancy. I know that's emergency gynaecology and early pregnancy. So if I click open this CiP, then I'll see what else I could do. So I'm managing I'm managing bleeding in early pregnancy. So that's a key skill. And then I'm managing the depending on what she's come in with, can I link it to that? Now, I train in London, so this is actually quite common. But if I then think about, am I helping her make decisions? So I'm supporting decision making, so I'll add that here. So then I could do that. And then where you work in London, am I championing women's health? So say it's someone that's had a miscarriage and you're counselling them, but the next time you want them to take folic acid for their pregnancy, so I'm promoting a healthy lifestyle or encouraging them to eat well, blah blah blah, then I can then add that here as well. So then I would then go on to fill out the event, my analysis, my learning plan, and then send it off to someone to sign for me. Back to the dashboard. So again, it's all the same, what happened, key points. And then you might not be able to add the link straight away here. But again, if we go back to the dashboard, so if you wanted to add on your reflective practice to your CiPs, you can come to say here, manages abnormal vaginal bleeding, and you want to add links for this key skill. So you want to link a log entry. So I'm hoping you're seeing how you can do that for the mini KEXs, the CBDs, and the reflective practices as well. And that's how you get your boxes on your ePortfolio sort of from grey to green. You might then wonder, but how many mini KEXs do I need to do? How many CBDs do I need to do? So when I first started training, a requirement was that you do 8 CBDs, 8 mini KEXs and 8 reflective practices across the year. Whereas now their focus is on quality and not quantity. So you want to pick really impactful cases. So again, if you saw someone that didn't speak English or you use a translator, that would come under promoting health, understanding unconscious bias, and those are CiPs that you should also link those types of cases to. When it comes to your ARCP, everything has to be green. And like we said with the training matrix, you want to make sure that the actual clinical skills that you're doing, you're getting 3 of those. You have to have evidence that you can do those things competently at least 3 times in order to be signed off for them overall. So I hope you've understood the basis of how to navigate the ePortfolio, how to start sending out assessments, how to link these, how to make your screens green in time for ARCP. I would also say that you need to keep your own personal log of all the cases you're seeing, you're doing, so that when you're sending them out, you have really good evidence. You can bring in all the things that you've done, and you just want to keep on top of it. So most ARCPs will come with 3 months notice. What you don't want to be doing is scrambling at the last minute. I've been there myself before, it's not great. So it's definitely important to work ahead. So I want to end this video with sort of tips that I think that you should do to avoid common pitfalls. So the first thing is to update your portfolio regularly. So do a weekly or every other week checking. Make sure that you're sending out assessments. Again, it's quality over quantity, and making sure that you're linking them appropriately. Make sure that when you're linking the right things to the right places. And when you come through to the end, you'll see that you'll have to go through these with your supervisor, and they will look over every single CiP, check that they agree with the evidence and sign it off appropriately. And also part of the training is that you have a supervisor, you meet with them regularly, and you communicate with them if you're coming up against anything. So if you're halfway through the year and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not getting any experience in this particular area, that's something you want to flag with them. And like I said, I know that a lot of the experience that you'll get will be from clinical practice, but actually if you go to a course, if you attend a teaching program, if you yourself give a presentation, all of these things are really useful and should be brought into your ePortfolio, just to demonstrate how well-rounded you are as an individual. So I hope that you found this video useful. If you have any specific questions that you'd like me to go over, please drop them in the comments below. Please feel free to share this to your friends and to really demonstrate to them how to use the ePortfolio. And good luck. We're still sort of halfway through the training year, so you've got plenty of time to get your head around it, get to grips with it, and I hope that you found this video useful. So until next time,